And that performance coming just over a few days since we received sad news, especially from the North Rift, where in Iten, for an Olympian, that is Agnes Tirop, was murdered or killed, and the police are still investigating that matter. I don't know if you can hear me, Dan Okech. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well, Robin.
Yes, very good performance by Kenyan athletes, especially the marathoners, but then coming on the back of an Olympian, Agnes Tirop, being killed by a unknown person. But of course, the police are on that trail. It must be very sad news that we have Kenyans performing really well, and there are people out there wanting to kill some.
Extremely mixed feeling. It was not the time to lose a young athlete. Very sad indeed. Young, beautiful, dazzling 25-year-old Kenyan athlete who did so well at the Olympics. Has a great future. It's very sad. We hope the police will get into it and get the culprits to book. About the performance of the weekend, it is great news to be Kenyan. Elisha broke a nearly 27-year-old record in Paris. Then Tanui, Amsterdam, great performance. We are proud to be Kenyan. We are proud of our athletes. And I know Eliud Kipchoge has set the bar so high, we can only get better from there.
Yeah, sure. Milton, if I may welcome you, really sad news happening in the North Rift where Agnes Tirop was killed. But that coming on the back of what Kenyans should be celebrating really is bad news.
Yeah, it is bad news, and very, very, very unfortunate that she died in cold blood. And people that are supposed to be protecting these athletes are the people that at the same time are suspected to be involved in some of these things. And we hope that the police and the agencies will do their best to make sure that the culprits are brought to book. But be as it may, Kenyans are still doing what they do best, which is to win the marathons. And I think really something needs to be done. And I like what you put out in the online last week, sorry about that, where you're saying that it lifts the lead on what the athletes are going through, and they need mentorship, they need guidance in terms of who they relate with and how they do that.
Yeah, sure. And we just hope that the police will get to the bottom of what happened. Now, I would like us to shift gears to the story of the week. That is the problem within FKF, where the Sports Cabinet Secretary, Ambassador Amina Mohamed, has ordered for an audit of the troubled FKF. And FKF have come out to say that, look, we express our reservations on the scope of the impending audit on the sports body by the government and the choice of sports registrar as the person to spearhead their task. This is after the Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed directed the sports registrar to invoke Section 52(1) of the Sports Act 2013, which confers the office the power to inspect any sports body or organization at any given time. The Federation said, and I quote, that the Federation is genuinely concerned that the sports registrar asked to carry out the said inspection was part of a group of individuals who tried to block the 2020 FKF elections through endless litigation for over a year. And they say that to take us through this, and they say that they don't have that confidence in an inspection to be carried out by the registrar. Now, to take us through this discussion, as I said, we have Dan Okech, a former aspirant of Gor Mahia chairmanship position. I don't know if he still wants to go for that post, but of course, as you can see, there's a lot of work to be done in Kenyan football. Dan, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Yes, the Cabinet Secretary has ordered for an inspection of FKF, and that comes on the back of a ruling on Thursday by the High Court of Kenya that, the agencies, the Kenyan agencies, the DCI, EACC, have the right to inspect or to audit FKF, and now that has triggered some action from the Sports Ministry. Do you agree with this move? Is there a need really to audit FKF, and why?
Thank you very much, Robin. I'm a Kenyan football enthusiast for a very long time. I've seen FKF presidents come and go. I've seen what Peter Kenneth did for Kenyan football, 1997, the times where arena promotions and all that, the live footballs were something to look forward to over the weekend. I've seen Nyamoya come and go. I've seen Nick start on a very high note, started very well, where the women Harambee Starlets did very well, improved even the rankings. However, in the last few years, it's not been so good with FKF. And yes, the audit is long overdue, and the audit is good. One, Nick Mwendwa is a good friend of mine. We talk a lot. We share platforms and notes on football matters. But I would rather be audited with my worst enemy so that I can prove to the world that I don't have any problem. When you start making noise about the person who is going to audit you, that is already a red flag. So I thought Nick, the person of his caliber, the person I know, Nick, would not complain about the audit and would want the worst enemy to audit them. And yes, it's very welcome. The audit should come, especially we've not been doing very well. One, because at a time that we thought we have the best talents to challenge Africa, is the time we are performing so poorly. This is a time that we are changing coaches so regularly. I think something has just gone wrong.
Milton, I can see Dan agrees that there should be an audit, but then I didn't ask you this because yesterday you had a press conference which was disturbed by some goons. We don't know who they are, but as I can tell you, we have all the footage. And what happened yesterday was despicable, an attempt to accost a journalist, but he is here. I can see you are in one piece. How did we get to this position, Milton? And would you agree with Dan Okech that there's need for an audit?
Well, I think it is a long overdue thing. But talking about yesterday, I think it is very unfortunate that we are going back to the dark days of goonism and hooliganism in these matters. And I can tell you for a fact that the goons that came there, and it is very unfortunate, and I want to speak directly to the powers that be, and Nick Mwendwa, those people who came where I had the press conference, they actually said that they were sent by Ronnie Oyando on the instructions of Nick Mwendwa. Very unfortunate. Nick, if you have anything against me, please face me. Don't send someone's father, someone's husband to fight your wars.
But have you made a formal complaint about that?
Yes, I have. I was with the OCS Kilimani police station, and they acted very swiftly. The goons were sent away, and we were able to have the press conference at the end of the day. They accosted me, and yes, and fortunately, I'm unhurt. But it is very unfortunate.
But all because you call for an audit, which Dan Okech also agrees that it should be done. Why do you think that audit needs to be done?
It is very necessary, Robin, because we've had a lot of stories, and I have evidence to suggest that there is misappropriation, there is abuse of office at Kandanda House, and 15 months ago, I wrote to the sports registrar and said, we need an inspection in accordance to Article 52 of the Sports Act. And at the time, maybe it was not feasible, but it is coming right now. It is never too late to have these things done or do the right thing. And here we are. The unfortunate statement that came from Kandanda House, signed by Barry Otieno, suggesting that the registrar cannot undertake that audit, is laced with a lot of ignorance for the simple reason that it is the law. It is what it is. And it confirms the attitude of lawlessness by Nick Mwendwa and Barry Otieno and the FKF. You cannot fight with the law. The law says it is the sports registrar who can order for an audit at the direction of the cabinet secretary or any other person who can call for that. So for them to misguide and mislead the country that the sports registrar is part or has been part of the group that was in court for over a year is again a misrepresentation of the facts, because the sports registrar was never in court. It is stakeholders who went to court, and the sports registrar, by virtue of the office, then was obviously an interested party, and she made her position known. So you cannot then turn around and say that the sports registrar cannot be fair. It is the office, and woe unto you if you have not complied with the law.
So, Dan, I find it strange that it is a journalist who is hosting, a press conference to talk about these issues. Yet you are there, a football enthusiast, a stakeholder at Gor Mahia and Kenyan football at large. Do you think really that we are lacking voices to speak up on this?
Thank you very much, Robin. One, it's unfortunate that such a thing happened. Unfortunately, you can't pin it down to an individual. I think because Nyakundi has reported the matter, I think let investigations be done so that fairly enough on air, we don't declare that is so and so who did it without the police declaring that. I think we let the police do it, but whatever happened is extremely unfortunate and should not happen in modern day football fraternity. Now, talking about the audit again, I think it's very clear that an audit, most organizations are audited every year. In my former employer, in the cooperative movement, the ministry ordered for an inspection, and yes, we complied. There was an inspection. They gave us a clean bill of health after the inspection. So Section 52(1) of the Sports Act is very clear. An inspection can be called for at any time. And I know Nick very well. I don't think you should have a problem with an inspection, especially if you know you're doing a good job. An inspection is okay. It's very good. It gives you the confidence to say that you see, guys, you see, I have nothing to hide, actually. I've been doing so well. My books are clear. Of course, I've had so much about, I don't have the facts about this. People have talked about the Obi van that was supposed to be procured in 2017. Today it's not there. People have talked about the remittances that have been given by CAF, FIFA and all that. I don't have the facts about this, but this is the time that Nick would have let the public understand that there is nothing, absolutely nothing to hide. And it should come. It should come yesterday so that it vindicates himself, so that it's clearer that it is clean. I don't know, if this is the time I want to talk about the politics surrounding the position, because there's some things that they come circumstantially, but they can really affect your performance. I don't know if you let me talk about this or you speak first.
We'll be asking him that. But then before I talk to Nyakundi, there's one Boniface, Boni Kocheng, who has written on Facebook. He has actually tagged me, and he's raising so many other issues here. He talks about the $1.5 million US, which you've just alluded to, that was supposed to buy the Obi van, which has not been delivered so far. And the company itself, that is WTS Media Group, has been wound up in England, so we don't know the fate of those millions. Kocheng is also talking about $1.5 million US that was sent by CAF and FIFA to cushion athletes over the the pandemic. There's a yearly subscription or disbursement by FIFA, which is about 100 million Kenyan shillings to the federation. He's gone on to list quite a number of them, including 244 million shillings that was spent by the government on the AFCON tournament in Egypt. He has also talked about these various partners that have come in to pour money in FKF. Now, here is FKF, who have raised an issue. They said they don't have the confidence in the sports registrar. Do you think this now will compromise the whole desire to have this inspection done?
It's a very unfortunate statement because it negates the results. You know, when a registrar says someone is culpable, then it would like say, we told you that they are not going to be fair. So therefore, you see, they are witch hunting. So it's a very unfortunate statement. It's always good to keep quiet, be mum, be patient, be calm, let this inspection take place, because those are very valid points. I don't know Bonnie's sources. He's my friend. We share a lot with him. So I'm sure off the show he will give me his sources. But they are very valid points. When someone says that money was given to the clubs and they didn't take the clubs, money was given for an van which wasn't bought. I know those are points. But I know the inspectors will get a platform to even dig into all this so that the FKF office vindicates themselves. If indeed these allegations are true, then it's very unfortunate. But
Yes.
now, yes, we leave this to the inspectors to now give us an opinion, a qualified, an opinion that is not in doubt in any manner, that yes, FKF is clean or they are not clean.
Yes, Milton, the FKF have come out clear, and I want to agree with them to some extent that during the elections in 2020 there were issues. The sports register came out really strongly to say that FKF, you've not observed the law as it were, but now they are raising that against her, that is Ms. Rose Wasike. But that is the law, as you say. It's the office of the registrar. You and I, as journalists, know that the office of the registrar is not staffed. It's only one person. It's a one-person show. Do you want to tell me that it will be the sports registrar doing this audit, or how should it be done?
Like I said, Robin, it's a very ignorant statement to imagine that it is Rose Wasike who's going to do the inspection herself. The law says that she will appoint inspectors. And that is where the gist of the whole matter is. And that informed my statement. I find myself in a very unfamiliar territory, in that I have now to step aside out of my way and now agitate for these issues. It is very clear what FKF should be saying, and this is what I was saying yesterday, is to wait for the registrar to spell the scope and the terms of the inspection. It is not the CS to give that. What they are trying to do is put the cart before the horse, because until the registrar comes out and says, this is the scope, this is the extent to which the inspectors will go, then FKF will have reason to raise the issues. That is why I was saying, what are the bare minimums in terms of this inspection for it to appear to be transparent and to be fair? That is why I was saying, and this is my very strong conviction, that it must involve several agencies. Because the malfeasance that we have seen at FKF, and I strongly believe it transcends financial, it involves procurement. Public money has been expended to FKF, 244 million for the AFCON. They have not accounted for it. As long as they have received public money, even the procurement processes for tickets, for accommodation, for all those things, it has to comply with public procurement procedures. As long as that component is there, I believe the Public Procurement Oversight Authority needs to be involved. I believe there is a tax component. Are they remitting their taxes as a federation, or are they exempt? KRA needs to be involved in that respect. You're talking about issues to do with the movement of money, that fictitious transactions. DCI need to be involved. So all this, so that we do this once and for all, and so that everybody has faith in this process. Observer groups, including the civil society and the football stakeholders, need to be involved as observers, so that then nobody is coming to say FKF were treated unfairly, or there is something that some stones were left unturned. And as a principle of integrity that we have seen in this country, if you are under investigation, then you step aside. FKF cannot say that they will continue. Nick Mwendwa cannot say that he will continue being in office for the duration of the audit.
Those are
we have
interesting,
seen
interesting
the CSS
points.
Heads of parastatals stepping aside when investigations are going on. You cannot preside over your own case.
I'm very sure the Sports Act provides for that. But then
it is
okay.
in rule number 19,
Yes.
subsection 4, that says you will need to step aside. So I don't think we should be debating that. And FIFA have been gracious enough. They have told Nick Mwendwa, for the record, unambiguously, that you must subject yourself to the audit. And FIFA, if anybody is waiting for FIFA to send a message that it is government interference, I am sorry, it is not coming. Yes,
Dan, Milton says that it has to be a multi-agency approach, and because FKF have raised issues with the sports, the office of the sports registrar, would you agree that all these agencies have a say in this? He has mentioned the DCI, he has mentioned the procurement oversight board. Do you think that would guarantee fairness to FKF?
Yeah, I agree with him on that. Just for clarity, Robin Toskill, I'm a procurement expert. I practice, I train, so therefore I can have some more input on that. First, for clarity, is this an investigation or an inspection? We need to get that very clearly, because in case of an inspection, he would still stay in office for the inspection, assist the inspectors to get the books well. However, an investigation, therefore, you'll have to step aside. I'll need to confirm that beyond from the Act, but an inspection, it takes, someone can say, I've stepped aside to give you room for proper inspection without my interference, but I really don't think it's a must by law that he steps down for an inspection. Now, I know I've known Akuli for a very long time. We've enjoyed watching him on the screens in his different sports houses. Now, talking about the multi, it's true that the registrar is one person. The registrar will not in any day step into FKF offices to do the actual inspection. It will take different bodies to do this inspection. And therefore, they will simply give the guidelines and receive the report. Now, talking about procurement procedures, we have the PPRA, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, the former PPOA. It's now renamed PPRA. Now, the authority has bare minimums that every public organization, every public institution that is funded by public money must, one, submit to them their plan every beginning of their financial year. Submit to them all the procurement they did for every quarter, all the tenders they did for that quarter, the bidders they used to procure various items. That is the bare minimum. So therefore, these are things that will take someone from PPRA or an auditor who understands procurement to give an opinion on such procedures. So therefore, as Nyakundi says, it is true that the registrar will simply give the guidelines that we are going to do A, B, C, D up to Z, but the office of a registrar, and we believe they have enough integrity not to interfere with the report. They will simply receive the report and give us the report. Otherwise, the activities shall be done by different people and several agencies. From where I sit, I hope there is nothing to hide from FKF. From where I sit, I hope there is no malice. From where I sit, I hope no money has been stolen. So therefore, we should wait for the report. The inspection 2 months thereabout, we will have a report and we'll say, yes, FKF have indicated they have no problem. Or no, this, it can get so bad, especially remember the former Minister for Sports, Wario, has been convicted because of the Rio Olympics. It can be so bad. So if there was mismanagement of AFCON funds, be sure someone will answer for those things. And it can be very bad. So therefore, we hope nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
We hope everything's okay. But I wish we be as sober as possible so that we get an inspection that is independent, so that will give the FKF a chance to defend themselves and explain themselves, and then give an opinion that is watertight and waterproof.
Milton, you must be happy that even months since you wrote to the sports registrar to try and trigger that section 52.1. Of course, you are not the cabinet secretary. The cabinet secretary, Ambassador Amina Mohammed, is the one empowered by the Sports Act 2013 to invoke that section, and she actually did it. She did it on on Friday. You must be happy then, Milton, that the government is finally doing something and the ministry is taking the lead.
Absolutely, and like I said yesterday, I have sounded like a broken record, a madman of the market who has been talking about these things. Like I say, it is never too late to do the right thing. So I salute the CS for the decision finally to now direct the sports registrar, and I hope everything is going to happen so that we get to the bottom of this. However, there are two things I want to point out, Robin. One is that the Auditor General has raised questions about money that has been spent. And this is something, again, I wrote to the BFIU about, that the President of the Federation has conferred personal benefits directly from the Federation account to the personal account of Nick Mwendwa. And that evidence is out there. I have provided it. BFIU have investigated. Now, that alone is an indictment that something is wrong at the Federation. But I don't want to speculate. Let them come out and prove me wrong. And I actually say old women become uncomfortable when dry bones are mentioned. If you have nothing to hide, really, you will not send goons to Nyakundi's press conference.
We are not sure about that. And of course, like you said, it is left to the police to determine that. But then
Robin,
the most important
by
thing,
their own confession.
But the most important thing that you raised is that there's a need for multi-agency approach to all this. And you've mentioned now, you've brought in now the name of the Auditor General. And do you think that the sports registrar needs to appoint the Auditor General? If they are uncomfortable with the her ministry, then the her office, then there's the Auditor General.
Robin, the law is the law. It gives the sports registrar the discretion to appoint inspectors, either as an individual or as a team. The point we are making is that let it be a team. That is the only way we can be guaranteed of transparency and openness. And that is why we are saying let observer groups be allowed to be part of the process. And that is why we are also saying that for the duration of the inspection, in accordance to Rule 19, Sub-Rule 4 of the Sports Registrar's regulations, let them step aside because there are too many skeletons. And that is my own view. Yeah? There are too many skeletons, and the only way this can be unearthed is to have a team, to have multi-agency. Let it be open. What do you have to hide if indeed there is nothing wrong?
But of course, the expert, Dan Okech, has reminded us that there's that difference between investigation and inspection. And I want to agree with you, Dan, on this, that they should be, we have to distinguish between the two so that whoever is expected to do maybe an inspection does that inspection. Whoever is supposed to do the investigation should do that bit. But then, Dan, because we are winding up the program, your final thoughts. I find it uncomfortable.
I think This platform is so serious, Robin,
Yes.
that with all due respect to Nyakundi, the press conference and the attack that happened is a very serious thing. He could have lost his life. And I don't think it's fair enough to insist that Nick in person sent someone to attack him. This platform is extremely serious. And the topic we have at hand is equally serious. You remember Mike Sonko said that they wore ODM T-shirts and banned vehicles so that ODM is blamed for it. Someone can come and confess that, yes, Nick was sent to me, and probably they did not. So therefore, let's have investigations done on this. This platform is serious. Such allegations are grievous and should not be uttered in such a serious platform. I really disagree about that. Now, onto this matter. Now, it is very important that we have an inspection, and this, we have no doubts about this. Yes, I agree with Toskin that the inspectors can call for anybody who have some submissions to make, so they can help them in concluding the inspection, in compounding and compiling documents. That is very welcome. The scope should be very open so that people Nyakundi has a lot of information, and that is important. Such people should have a platform to air their views and say what they know with evidence, so that we have FKF is either exonerated from the accusations or they are pinned down to answer for it. Now, something that is very critical, Toskin, that we need to talk about is the performance of the Harambee Stars. You know very well that FKF is as good as the performance of our national team. Whether they are doing a good job, as long as we are not doing well on the pitch, we are in chaos. And this we have to talk about. It has been very bad. Of course, unfortunately, Nick Mwendwa was quoted saying that we don't have enough talent. Well, we all disagree. We have enough talent. Olunga, our top striker, can walk into Real Madrid and play for 90 minutes. I mean, he's as good as any other good striker you can see in the world. Wanyama can walk into any team and play. Eric Ouma can walk into any team as a left fullback and play. So therefore, Okumu is a very good defender for any agent. So
those are very good views, Dan. And at KTN, we offer you all those opportunities, the platforms to express yourself. We have Zilizala Viwanjani, we have Danadana Viwanjani on Radio Maisha, and also the standard newspaper, the digital platforms are all there for you to express yourself. Gentlemen, I would like to thank you most profoundly for coming through to help us understand what is happening within FKF and the call for an audit within that troubled federation. We just hope that all this shall end well. And at that note, I would like to thank you, Milton Nyakundi, for coming through, and also Dan Okech. Until next week on Sports Chat, I'm Robin Toskin.